We're getting in top inputs here of the Supreme Court having reserved its order till 2:30 p.m. today. This is regarding the plea which was put by one of the Nirbhaya convicts, Pawan, who claims that he was a minor at the time of the crime. We should remember here in the arguments that have taken place so far, Solicitor General making it very clear that this is an issue that has been raised several times before. The matter was being reviewed by the top court and then the claim had been rejected as well. Our Deputy News Editor Meenakshi Bhanja is getting us those inputs here. Meenakshi, once again, this being a sign that the convict's lawyer here is using yet another delayed tactic in multiple pleas being filed. This is with respect to something that has already been shot down earlier.
Well, absolutely. This is a set of unending litigation that we are seeing play out in various judicial forums by a set of lawyers looking to enable the rapists and convicts and death row convicts of the Nirbhaya case. And of course, the Supreme Court very cognizant and sensitive about what is going on. And that is the reason we saw some very terse observations coming in from Honorable Justice Bhanumati, who went on to court as to how many times issue which has been raised in the past in judicial forums can be relied upon again and again. We also saw Justice Bhushan slam the attempts being made by A.P. Singh. Remember, it's the same A.P. Singh who's been served a notice by the Bar Council of India just this Saturday for his purported delaying tactics that have been frowned upon by courts after another, from the High Court to now the Supreme Court, wanting to understand what is really going on. But clearly one pertinent mention here that the judicial forums, especially the Supreme Court of India, very well cognizant of this and therefore sitting today itself to hear and dispose of this petition, because at a later point in time, sir, they do not want for the councils to be raising this plea before a lower court magistrate or even the High Court, saying that the impending death warrant should not be executed on account of this plea being pending. As we speak, Nirbhaya's parents very much present in the courtroom, and we will learn of the Supreme Court's mind at around 2:30 in the afternoon. But all indications that this is not going too well for the death row convict slash rapist Pawan.
Right, but Meenakshi, to the layman watching, it's a set of going in circles. These multiple attempts that are being made by the convict's lawyer, despite an issue, a plea, an argument having been rejected in the earlier stage of the case, is now being brought up again. How is this being allowed?
Well, Seher, if it is, if the councils are engaging in unending set of litigations, also remember the message that the Supreme Court is sending out, that it is very well cognizant of the sensitivity of this case and the very fact that it is hearing this matter and also hearing with the intention to dispose it off, and that is the reason the orders are reserved for 2:30 p.m. Is something which also in itself is a message. Of course, there is no bar against people from trying, especially those who are on death row, from trying their set of legal remedies. The point here is the timing of these legal remedies. Why were these remedies not explored by these convicts and their set of enabler lawyers, say after 2017 when the Supreme Court disposed of their criminal appeals? So that is the pertinent question. Why are they engaging in these set of legal redressal of what they claim are genuine grounds only subsequent to the issuance of the first death warrant on the 22nd of January. So yes, while this unending set of litigation is something which is along expected lines, but look at the top court sitting today itself to not just hear it, but also go ahead and dispose it off by way of a judicial order at around 2:30 p.m. And given the fact that they are engaging in these multiple rounds of litigation, we are also seeing the machinery at play. No less unless then the
Yes.
solicitor, who is the top law officer of the government of India, is standing in the courtroom, and he is also beseeching upon the Supreme Court to look at all the prior material that has been presented to various judicial forums on the same issue. And he's also saying as to how the Supreme Court should
Yes.
dismiss the set of unending litigation which has only been engaged in with a specific intention to prolong the inevitable.
That's right. Meenakshi, many thanks for getting us those details. Farmers are continuing to protest. This is day 34 in Andhra Pradesh. As we look at those images here, this protest which is intensifying against the state cabinet's decision of a three-capital plan to decentralize power from just one place. Visuals on your screen of the protest that is being held in Amravati by the farmers. Remember, this is a farmers-driven protest, and the cabinet, though, has gone ahead with that decision to approve the decentralization of the capital Amravati and the formation of capitals in 3 different cities, which includes Amravati and 2 other cities. This is a special 3-day assembly session which is underway as we speak, and it is to discuss this very issue. But amidst this farmers' protest, there is unrest against Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy's plan on why he wants to split this into 3 cities. This is ahead of the session with a meeting with the High Power Commission. The cabinet has approved this decision here, but the opposition in the state, the TDP chief, Chandrababu Naidu, along with other TDP MLAs there, they have protested outside the Andhra Pradesh Legislative Assembly, and this is against the decision here of decentralizing Amravati. Earlier, Chandrababu Naidu had urged the Chief Minister there, Jagan Mohan Reddy, to not take this decision, to not shift the capital out. Let's get in further inputs. Our correspondent Paul is getting us those details here. Paul, it seems that in the midst of massive protests here, Jagan Mohan Reddy's government has gone ahead and still taken this decision in refusing to take into account that there is a valid argument that is being raised by the farmers and not necessarily just by the opposition there.
Well, that's right. We are seeing dramatic visuals play out there in Amravati because the entire area leading up to the Legislative Assembly was cordoned off. In fact, there is heavy deployment of police. Almost 8,000 police personnel from various departments of the police are there presently deployed at various positions across Amravati to ensure that farmers do not march towards the Legislative Assembly, where a special session is presently underway. But interesting turn of events took place when the farmers, instead of taking the usual route, they ventured out into the fields and took another route to reach the back side of the Legislative Assembly. And those visuals that you're seeing on your screens are visuals of farmers actually gathering together. In fact, there was also a face-off between the police and the farmers. So that is happening on one side. On the other side, several TDP leaders have been detained. MP Gala Jaidev, who was leading one of the protests, he also was walking along with the farmers. He took the route through the fields, agricultural fields, to reach the backside of the Legislative Assembly. While all this is happening outside, in the inside, before the Legislative Assembly began, we saw Chandrababu Naidu and all the TDP MLAs together protesting right outside the Legislative Assembly. Inside, the motion was passed to discuss about decentralization of the capital, and presently the discussion is underway. We saw Finance Minister Bugana Rajendranath put out several interesting details about how TDP leaders had actually bought documents of land just before the announcement of Amravati. So we're seeing a political blame game there inside, but on the outside, it is the farmers' protest is on the boil. Several areas across Amravati, we are seeing dramatic visuals where tires are being burned, roads are being blocked, but thankfully not really getting out of control because the police had to lathi charge in certain areas, but otherwise protests are happening across Amravati.
Okay. But Paul, to what extent the government here continues to maintain that this is only a politically driven protest? A lot of those who are posing as farmers are now only new owners of the land that has already been sold by the farmers. But given that this is spread across 29 villages in the area, how is it a pro-poor, pro-farmer government who came just freshly to power on the hopes of the poor and the farmers is refusing to listen in to this argument that genuinely farmers could be affected with this decision?
Well, YSRCP continues to maintain that this decision is keeping in mind the entire state. That is, decentralization of the capital will only lead to further development in several other areas which would have otherwise gone unrecognized. So they deserve better development. This is the concept behind the decision. However, they tried to put across to the people of the state that it's not one commission's report, but multiple reports and analysis that we have actually considered. We saw the GN Rao commission, which had suggested decentralization, and then also the Boston Consulting Group and several other such kind of commissions had been constituted to submit reports. And then finally, according to the hierarchy, a high power commission was set up to look into each of these commission reports. And it was after that a final report was submitted this morning in the cabinet meeting, in which they decided to go ahead with the decentralization of the capital. And that is how the cabinet decided to introduce a bill in the assembly. YSRCP has the numbers here, so it is expected that either today or maximum by tomorrow they will pass this bill, which will mean that the Andhra Pradesh state will have 3 capitals. But TDP continues to say we have one state,
Absolutely.
we just need
They're
one
sitting
capital.
on a massive majority
so
there.
are the farmers speaking in the same voice?
Please stay with us, Paul, because there are further breaking inputs here. While we were discussing that a lot of these protests have been in control, but now we're beginning to understand, these are breaking inputs coming in, that police personnel have been injured in this face-off that has played out with the Amravati farmers. This is right here near the Andhra Legislative Assembly, when they had taken the back route in surprising the authorities of reaching the assembly through the back route. And these are images of officers on duty who've been injured in this face-off, in this protest. This is day 34 here, and this is perhaps the most intense of these protests that we're looking at. Paul, now we're getting in details here of officers on duty here have been injured in this face-off, in this very intense protest with the farmers today, which is right behind the Andhra Assembly.
Well, that's right, sir. The visuals that you're seeing now are visuals of police personnel from not only the Rapid Action Force, but also from the paramilitary forces that have been deployed in various areas, along with the Andhra Pradesh police, who have been injured in the face-off that took place. Like I said, the regular routes that lead to the Legislative Assembly had several checkpoints and bandobas and police persons deployed. They never expected that the farmers would deroute and actually take another route through the agricultural fields to reach the backside of the Legislative Assembly. It caught them unaware. There were TDP leaders also in that particular gathering. You could see thousands of people moving towards the Legislative Assembly with the hope of laying siege to the building. All this in protest, in anger against the government's decision to move out the capital out of Amravati. It would continue to remain one of the 3 capitals, but it means it would only be a lesser important capital, considering that the Legislative Assembly is also is being planned to move to Visakhapatnam. So you'll have Visakhapatnam, Kurnool, and then Amravati as the 3 capitals. But yes, dramatic scenes being witnessed in various areas in Andhra Pradesh, where the discussion about this decentralization of the capital continues inside the Legislative Assembly.
Yes. Paul, many thanks for getting us those details. Yeah, undoubtedly the most intense day of these protests that we've seen today on day 34, where you have members of the RAF and police personnel on duty now being, some of them being injured as well in this face-off with the farmers there. Horrifying news that's come in of a 20-year-old woman having succumbed to her injuries at a hospital in Delhi on Sunday. The victim's family and the Noida police have differed on the circumstances to what led to her death, though. The cops here that claim that she was injured in an accident, which was on the Yamuna Expressway, but the woman's family claims that she was actually gang raped, following which she died of her injuries. Let's get in further inputs. We have with us our correspondent Alok with those details here. Alok, how are the versions to this differing? What have been the police lapses here in this?
Well, yes, sir. In fact, this is another case of police inaction that we can say by the Uttar Pradesh police, if we say, because the woman died, women met with that accident on Friday. Women died, women succumbed to her injuries on Sunday, and till late Sunday, till in fact Sunday afternoon, the case wasn't registered. So that clearly suggests that the police inaction. However, the Mathura police, where this accident had happened, they got to know about this accident on Friday only. But the case was registered on Sunday afternoon when the family approached Noida police, and they in fact registered a protest here at sector 49 Noida police station. Then only the case was registered. However, the family says that the girl was raped and murdered, and before murdering she was allegedly beaten up badly, due to which she had critical injuries on her body. However, the police says she met with an accident on Friday. She had gone to Mathura with her 3 friends, that include 1 female and 2 males, on 2 motorcycles. While they were returning, they stopped at somewhere on the roadside, and at the same time there was a vehicle came, and that vehicle hit that girl who was standing beside the motorbike. So that is the police version in this case. However, they say that they will rely, their further investigation will rely on the post-mortem examination, which is being conducted today. The body is being, in fact, in the post-mortem mortuary, that the post-mortem is going on. Police say that once the post-mortem reveal the exact what kind of injury she had, then only they will further proceed into this whole case. But as of now, they have registered a case of murder and rape on the complaint of family members. But they say that initial findings found out that the girl was hit with that accident. So there is 2 different versions. But what we are asking is, when the Mathura police got to know about that accident, why they had not started that investigation at the same time? Had they started the investigation, they would have caught the person who hit that woman. However, the police say that there are versions they have also recorded the statements of the woman's 3 friends who were accompanying her. They in fact say that she met with that accident. So there are completely different versions. However, the family says that the person who were accompanying her, they indulge in the rape. So as of now, police say that their further investigation will rely on the post-mortem examination report. Today, the post-mortem is being conducted. So definitely, the coming days or the coming hours, the picture will be clear more on this whole story. Back to you.
Right, right. And why there have been 2 separate versions to this, and how this case is being dealt with. Alok, thanks for those inputs here. Also going across to our colleague Apeksha, getting us further details of the sequence of events and the exact case details here on this. Apeksha, go ahead, please.
Well, Seher, let's take our viewers through the exact details, because we're looking at 2 different versions coming in, one from the family and the other one from the police. Now, let's first take a look at what the family is saying. Now, the family says that it was January 17th when the girl told her parents that she's leaving for work, a usual day at work. So the father believes that the girl had actually left for work. At about 2 p.m., he had like a routine conversation like he has every day with her, where she said that she would be returning from work at 9:30 p.m. But what happened that day was at 9:30 p.m. he actually got a call from one of her friends saying that she has been victim to a road accident in Mathura, and they should immediately rush to Kailash Hospital, which is a private hospital in Mathura. So the parents, the entire family reached there. They saw that there were 3 of her friends present there, and the girl was grievously injured. Now, following because Kailash Hospital is a private hospital, they couldn't afford the treatment. They decided to move the girl to a government hospital in Delhi, and this is on Sunday that they actually got to know, where the hospital authorities informed them that she has grievous injuries in her private parts and it is a case of rape. That is when the parents got worried, and they moved on to informing Noida police. Now, Noida, the family claims that the Noida police was reluctant to file an F.I.R, especially that of gang rape. It's only after the villagers, a group of 100 people, gathered outside the police station protesting the police's inaction. Only then did the police actually register an FIR. So this is what the family is claiming. While the police, on the other hand, is saying that the girl, including with 3 of her other friends, had actually gone out, for a day out to Mathura. They were returning from Mathura. There were 4 people on 2 bikes, and on their way back, it was late at night, she was hit. The bike that she was traveling on was actually hit by a 4-wheeler, and that is how she met with an accident there at the expressway, and she was grievously injured. Now, while the parents are claiming that it is a case of rape, the police is treating it like a case of accident. It's only after these allegations have come up that now then they registered a case of FIR and a case of rape. And also, let's consider, Seher, here the problem of jurisdiction, because the Mathura police, the incident happened in Mathura, and the Mathura police, like Alok was pointing out, did not initially react to this entire incident. They did not investigate. They did not, register a complaint. They did not take statements from witnesses. Even the driver, for that matter, of that car that is absconding. So we have no idea where they are. So they did not initially react. They did not even, hand over the case to Noida police. Noida police got to know about it only when the parents approached the police. So initially there was a little hesitation from the police's end, because there was a change of jurisdiction. It's after the involvement of higher authorities in the Noida police that they were actually pressurized to take the case. So now the police is actually waiting for the post-mortem report to verify what the parents are saying, Seher.
All right. Apeksha, many thanks for getting us those details, exactly point to point on where the differences are and why so. In other news, this is in the build-up to elections in Delhi. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal is holding his first road show today. He's expected to file his nomination shortly. Remember, Kejriwal is fighting from the New Delhi constituency.
Large number of crowd has come on ground in support of Arvind Kejriwal, who is filing the nomination from this seat for the 3rd time. This is the constituency where Arvind Kejriwal has come, and he is going to file the nomination. Arvind Kejriwal, who has pitched the local issues, electricity and water, as the forefront issues on which the elections will be fought. The people who have come here will talk to them to know what they are thinking. Sir, ये बताइए कि जो अभी आप लोग जमीन पे आए हैं नॉमिनेशंस के लिए मुख्यमंत्री के, लगता है कि जो चुनाव है इस बार पिछली बार से ज़्यादा चैलेंजिंग है या ज़्यादा आसान है?
ज़्यादा चलेंगे, जरूर ज़्यादा चलेंगे। ये तो सीएम नहीं है, पीएम बनना चाहिए, प्रधानमंत्री बनना चाहिए।
ओनली केजरीवाल, दिल्ली के लिए केजरीवाल।
अरविंद केजरीवाल ने जितने काम किए ना आज तक किसी सरकार ने किए, ना आने वाले कर पाएगा। महिलाओं की सुरक्षा को लेके, उनके टिकट फ्री को लेके, बस सुविधा, तमाम सुविधा की, बिजली सस्ती की, और वो आने वाले 5 साल में हो गए, और यही बात मनोज तिवारी से न हो पाएगा।
So you can clearly see the people have been talking about the core issues, the guarantee card, the core important issues which Arvind Kejriwal has been focusing upon. This is what the Aam Aadmi Party workers are saying here, who have come here to support Arvind Kejriwal and during his road show on the nomination.
All right, undoubtedly plenty expectations there from him for having performed on his first term there. With that, we're slipping into a breather. It is a wrap on the big story, news and updates that continue.